Los Angeles. And it is Wednesday, the 23rd of October. Can you believe it? AD 2024. The month is getting away from us. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show, I hope and believe. Praying. And we're looking at this bubbling brook once again, because it's nice. You hear it? We will talk about the fact that the ridiculous experts, backwards experts, think that Kamala's economic plan, is far superior to our greatest President Trump's plan. Where's my spittoon? I have to spit. I'll get that spittoon in a second. It's so ridiculous. I don't believe that. First of all, Kamala is pro-crime. Yeah, she was an AG, Attorney General, but Attorney General of California, the top law enforcement officer of a border state. I prosecuted transnational criminals. Trans something. Shout out. So she's a phony, and so too are the people who are pretending, because they are pretending. I don't even believe that they believe this. But I could be mistaken. There are people who are truly deluded, experts included. There's other stuff going on in the world. I didn't get to read something from Hake News. I just mentioned it in brief. Oh yeah, McDonald's. They're going after McDonald's because Trump worked at McDonald's, and he really did it. And now they're coming out with E. coli from other McDonald's locations, not the PA one, I noticed. Pennsylvania was not in the list. So that's that. Anyway, guys, all that and your calls. Some of you guys already on hold. I appreciate it. If you'd like to call in and your super chats, I think I might have missed one or two. So let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing a nice shirt today. I hope you're happy with me. I know I'm happy with me. Check out the What's Up Rumble crew. I do believe I'm there. Hey, Jules Verne, 0707. That means double salute. 07 looks like a salute. Lowercase o, capital 7. Very nice, man. I'm live on punchy.tv, am I? I should be live on X. I can't see my restream chat. It's gone inferior. Suddenly restream is inferior. What's up, Bethany, over in the Facebook crew? Love the Birds of Paradise shirt. Yeah, it does. It totally looks like Birds of Paradise t-shirts. I mean, shirt. Thank you. At night. I kind of match with my background, too. Right on. Let me get to a call or two, guys. That's kind of fun, right? No? Alex in California is on the line over here. So let me bring him on. Alex, thank you for calling and holding there, man. Appreciate it. What's up?
Hakey Bear. I tried calling yesterday, but I ran out of time.
No worries. I'm glad
you the day before.
Glad you got in.
I think I have the space denier on hold earlier.
Right. Yeah, and I wasn't able to get through to you. I mean, you weren't able
And
to
then
get
you
through.
went off on flat Earth.
I did. Hard.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Nice, strong intro voice today. I could
Thank you.
tell it was coming from the diaphragm.
Yeah, for sure.
You got a nice high note. I could tell that's like your comfort zone with whatever note that is, and you put your chest into it. And the "Hey guys" was very strong as well.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the critiques.
I appreciate it. It sounds great. So I wanted to talk two things and then a little bit of the flat Earth stuff, but we'll keep it short.
Okay.
Kamala definitely hates Christians, and she definitely took the mask off if there was ever a mask. I don't know how she was in the past about Christianity, but I'm sure you saw at that rally. Someone said Jesus is Lord, and she's all, "Oh, I think you're at the wrong rally. You might want to go to the other one down the street, the smaller one down the street." And the crowd was just like, "Yeah,"
Right.
roaring.
Just a
What do you think
mocker.
about that?
Malicious mocker.
Isn't that evil?
It is. Kamala is kind of like a wannabe Obama, when Obama's a big-time mocker of Christians and
shameless.
whites. Yeah.
I really didn't like that.
No, yeah. They know what it symbolizes. It symbolizes being against abortion. It symbolizes... She knew that they were not for her. She knew that they were opposed to her, and that's all she cares about is herself. I think that's my take on it. That's my theory on Kamala.
Yeah.
But yes, she does hate Christians. It's true.
It's just flagrant.
Yeah.
There was another podcast. Well, not a podcaster. There was another person named Tucker Tarlson. Summed it up very well. He said that they support everything that's unnatural and not from God. Like they support, murdering your babies. They support being LGBT. All of those things are basically dehumanizing. They're anti-human. They can't sustain like that. So nothing in the world is like no other animals do that. So it's got to be from something else that's not God. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught Anchor Baby's show yesterday. He had a co-host with him, Bill, the engineer. He's a ball-tarred Bill, we call him. But Bill made a great point about the fact that these people get away from being real. You know being real, right? Just being real. They were talking about how Elon Musk, when he's getting stuff done, he's about really getting it done. It's not about ego and you don't question me, I'm the boss. It's about what's going to work. And these people don't care about what works. They don't care about reality. They upend reality to fit the dream. And that kind of reminds me of what you just said that one of my competitors might have said about these people.
I mean, if you want to murder your baby and you want to be a homosexual, those two things, you're not going to sustain, humanity with that. So there's something going on where they want to destroy humanity.
Yeah.
They're anti-human. It makes sense.
I think that people get spoiled and they lose track of reality. That's why a lot of people in the cities, they're spoiled, they're well-to-do, and then they can participate in Vanity Fair, if you will, and just be degenerate and think that they can get away with it.
I think they're a little sloppy with it too. Like if they were to generalize all religions or go after like Muslims or go after Jews or something else, aside of just always going for Christians, like we know what you guys are doing.
Right. Yeah.
They're just kind of sloppy with it, which is just surprising to me. The evil people, you'd think they'd be super smart where they wouldn't be sloppy like that.
I think they used to have to be slicker, and now people are so far gone that you don't have to be slick anymore. You can be just obvious with your evil.
Yeah, and a lot of people will go along with it.
Yeah, they really do.
So that's the Kamala part. The other thing I want to talk about shortly, I'm not sure what it was called, but Trump did some sort of convention. It was similar to like a roast. I guess they do these each year. I wasn't even familiar with that. You know what I'm talking about? The
Al Smith dinner. I think it happens maybe every 4 years. I remember he did it with Hillary. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Everybody in tuxedos, and he was standing next to a seated, what's that Jewish guy, Democrat, top guy, Democrat?
Schumer?
Yeah, Chuck Schumer. And
Yeah,
he was just roasting
let's
everybody.
remember that part because I want to bring that up in a minute. So that's what is this called? The Al what?
I believe it's Al Smith dinner. It's a fundraiser for, I think Catholics put it on.
Okay, so it's nothing that it's not really political. It's more of a third party type thing.
That's right, and it's traditionally both candidates go to it, but Kamala skipped it
And they're
for some
supposed
reason.
to like roast each other and make jokes and stuff. Or
Yeah. Trump did a really funny one when Hillary was there.
yeah, like so I thought that I was paying attention a lot, but apparently I must have. I remember the clips from the last one that happened, but it didn't really hit me in the way that this one hit me.
Okay.
This one, with all the stuff that's going on, it just makes me really question the reality if any of this is all real or if it's all theatrics. Because if Trump allegedly got shot, like, are we really up there cracking jokes about it? Like, he's up there he literally was making jokes about it.
Yeah.
And now he's doing the McDonald's thing. I know the McDonald's thing, they have to like shut down the McDonald's and secure it and all. I get that. It's probably
Right.
all fake anyway, but like if the dude really got shot, why are we screwing around like this? Like I feel like it's theatrics, like, you know what I mean?
I get what you're going for. Yeah, I get where you're going with that.
I could be wrong, but it just seems like if he's really getting shot at, we shouldn't be really doing all this public stuff and screwing around and making jokes about it. That's just me. Maybe I'm a little too serious, I guess.
You might be. You might be too serious about it because Trump has sort of moved on, and he knows that it wasn't those people who took shots at him. They might have secretly cheered it on, but you go among your enemies, and it's kind of like Joe from Phoenix. I know that he like hates my show or hates, he thinks that
yesterday was weird.
It was. But but I can still like joke with him, and I'm not saying that I'm a good example or not, but I'm just saying that that's kind of how people are. You kind of know.
Well, yeah, let's stay on that because remember I said bring up Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's sitting next to Chuck Schumer who calls him Hitler and a threat to democracy. Those are fighting, killing words, battling words.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna sit next to each other and chop it up and laugh. Like, I just don't operate like that.
Well,
with the enemy.
Well,
but I understand what you're saying. Like you can do that, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's good or bad to do it either. I'm just saying that that's how people just kind of get used to each other, and they're brutal enemies. But take it this way: somebody made this point about Chuck Schumer saying that. I think I heard it on Joel Friday TV, by the way. I think Joel Friday covered The Breakfast Club, this appearance by one of the Trump wives, Eric Trump's wife. I think she pointed out that if Chuck Schumer really believed that, he wouldn't be sitting there grinning. Chuck Schumer has once admitted that Trump gave him his first check when he was running for office way back in the day, because Trump used to support people. So Chuck Schumer, it's kind of proving Chuck Schumer to be a liar because Chuck Schumer is the one who's calling him a threat to democracy, and Trump is standing right there and they're yucking it up, as you said. And it kind of shows that Chuck Schumer's a phony.
It's all BS, bogus speech.
Yeah. But to me,
the problem with the bogus speech is the fact that it's such extreme words and we're all just used to using the words.
Right.
Like fascism. The other day, some kid was using fascism. I'm like, bro, nobody believes that there's fascism. We all just think you're gay.
Right.
There's no fascism going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't think I think it's all theatrics and bogus speech if they can say things like that and then sit next to him and take pictures with them. There was something else they did a few weeks back where they're all hanging out taking pictures. Like, dude, you guys call this guy Hitler. Right. And you're just going to hold his hand and take a picture?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make sense. And it's clear to me that whatever theatrics they're doing, it's pretty clear at this point they want us all hating each other. True. And it's worked very well.
It really has.
They're all just hanging out with each other, probably partying behind the scenes.
But in reality, they hate each other too. But
and they hate themselves.
Yeah, they hate themselves. They hate each other. they're you can just take one look at these people, and they're not angelic people. They're not.
If the Democrats didn't have the Republicans or the left didn't have the right, they would just be fighting with each other.
That's true, and they do actually. It's kind of like the blacks hating the whites. They spend most of their time hating one another.
Right.
It's
We're just
not
trying
as
to
though they
live
have
and pay
love.
bills, and they're just fuming about us all day long.
Right. But if in our lives we're hating one another and ourselves too. Everybody's in a fallen state,
Yeah. And then I want to wrap it up because I don't want to leave people waiting too long. But just to lightly respond in a friendly disagreement with the flat Earth stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine, like, to make fun of it. I don't really care anymore. I don't really have arguments with Globers about it anymore because I've realized that you guys just really skim the surface. You'll see a couple memes on social media or whatever, and that's as deep as it really goes. Like, and I'm not criticizing, but it's like you said, you don't really care about it. So it's like, why would you spend a day, really deep diving into it?
Yeah.
But the problem is with the flat earthers is we've seen the stuff that you guys don't care about looking at. Like one really small example that, the ISS, how they're floating around in zero gravity, allegedly.
Yeah.
And they bring out like water bottles and the water is spraying everywhere. They bring out M&Ms. They're just kind of screwing around, having fun. There's one where they're floating around, literally floating around, and there's a glass of water and the glass is like half full. So just the fact that there's things like that they're sloppy and lazy, just like the Democrats are. Like, I think if you guys saw that stuff without it being framed in some like joking, mean, like comical manner, you'd probably understand like what we're seeing. But
why would
I don't even get angry about like the Glober flat Earth thing anymore. I think we all just deserve the truth at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely not something to get angry at, and I see both sides looking down on each other and getting angry, and that's another source of. It's not a source of division, but it's another excuse for division, kind of revealing the evil hearts of the Baltards and the flat earthers.
Well, we write each other off as people, just like we do with politics. If this person's a Glober, he's stupid. This person's flat earth, they're retarded, Ray.
Right.
It's just not right.
That's so true, man.
But and then just to wrap it all up right there, like the two things that you said that I think probably hurt some other people's feelings was, quote unquote, comparing them to the blacks, and then saying that I think something about Christianity, but I think it's true that you're not going to find any liberal lefty flat earthers. It's all hardcore Christians because that's where it comes from, is the Bible.
Yeah. Well, there's a Jewish flat earther too, though, huh? Well, he's kind of sort of an agnostic.
A few different religions, but I mean, it all leads back to God and Jesus. Like, you're not going to find an atheist flat earther. That's why it's hard for him to come back to the globe stuff, because the globe stuff is all satanic Democrat lefty stuff.
Interesting. Well, let me answer the half full glass of water thing.
Surface tension or some nonsense like that.
No, if there's nothing to disturb that water glass, why wouldn't it stay half full?
Why wouldn't it be floating? I mean, I don't want to get into it. I really don't. But why wouldn't it be floating around like they are? How are things that are free floating sitting on tables? If like a 180-pound human being is floating around, how is some little glass of water sitting on a table?
Because the human being moved a little bit, and so he started drifting, but the water didn't move, and so it wasn't drifting. I'm guessing.
I think the one thing you said is some of us are just kind of throwing out everything in general because we don't believe it. That's
right.
Kind of the class I'm in after 2020. I don't believe in science anymore because we've been lied to by scientists. You figure out that they're all lefty Democrats, satanic, LGBT people. So we probably shouldn't be listening to science. And that does include space, unfortunately, to me.
But isn't it so cool what Elon Musk is doing?
I think that was a real rocket.
Yeah.
But he didn't go to space, did he?
I don't know. I didn't follow that part. Yeah.
But yeah, let me let you go, and I don't want to take up too much time. But good conversation today.
Definitely, man. Great call. Take care.
Have a good one.
You too. Alex in California. He drums. I'm doing the I'm drumming, by the way. Double bass pedals. So cool. Speaking of cool, let's hear from Ronnie in Ohio. Ronnie, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
My brother Hake, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, all is well.
Good.
Yeah, briefly, I wanted to touch on the flat Earth theory, mindset, whatever that is.
Yeah.
One of the defenses that flat earthers give is that NASA lies to everybody and blah blah blah. But they fail to realize or point out or acknowledge that the United States is not the only country that thinks that the Earth is round.
Right.
It's a worldwide thing. So if NASA's lying, who's lying to India? Who's lying to Russia? Who's lying to China? And all the other countries that also accept that the Earth is round.
Yeah. And this stuff predates NASA.
Definitely.
Aries 1 said with a diamond on the J.S. Lee Peterson show that Copernicus was a Freemason. And Copernicus said that we're heliocentric, right? We're orbiting the sun, I think. And then Galileo, maybe I'm confusing them. Galileo said that we're a ball Earth or something like that. I don't know. I forget.
Yeah,
I think Galileo said that we're around the sun. But yeah. And so Galileo was a heretic. And so I don't know what side Aries 1 is on, but sort of interesting. But that just points to the fact that people have been knowing. I watched the sunset yesterday. I was in like Venice Beach walking, and I literally saw a portion, the sun go from like a circle. I blinded myself a little bit, but I saw the sun go from a circle to like a semicircle to like a tiny portion of a circle. I forget what it's called, and then disappear. That is not what the flat earthers say. The flat earthers say that the sun goes so far away that it just eventually goes out. But that's not what happened. It went down below the horizon. Ball Earth.
It's hard for them to really debate it and stand on any type of solid ground.
Yeah.
They can point to the word firmament in the Bible, and then they can try to say that the people that told us that Earth is round are lying to us, even though they don't have proof that they're lying. It's just an accusation.
Right. Yeah. And those, I don't take away that the government lies, and who knows, NASA is like a public government-run company, and they want to act like they're important and should be funded, whereas Elon Musk is also government-funded, but he's also for efficiency, making things cheaper, making it cheaper to go into space, if you heard Anchor Baby and Bill yesterday, so that we can actually go up there on the cheap and it be viable, which is cool.
Yeah,
I admire that.
I caught their discussion, and it was a good one. And even with that, I'm not sure if Elon Musk has ever come out and said if he thinks Earth is flat or round.
Me neither.
But again, it's a topic. It's kind of fun to talk about with them,
for sure.
And there are interesting points when they bring up like Antarctica not being able to just be freely discovered. Mm-hmm. There are definitely things that I question, but that doesn't make me come to the conclusion that, well, they must be lying, so Earth is definitely flat.
Right.
I think that's more of an emotional stance. And again, it's one that they don't really have much evidence for.
Yeah, true. And I don't know if it's an IQ thing or if it is like an imagination thing, or they can mentally picture things, or they have the type of mind that can comprehend a model in their mind, but it's so obviously a globe to me, but it's not to others. Everybody has their blind spots, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to me as well, and I know you and I don't always agree on everything, so I think the fact that we agree on it kind of closes the case.
Indeed, that's right.
Yeah. And then something else I wanted to talk about that's worldwide. So we got the election coming up in less than 2 weeks. And I know a lot of people like to blame Kamala, not Kamala or Camilla. They like to blame Kamala for the high inflation that we have right now.
Yeah.
And the high energy prices. And I heard Jesse talking about his electric bill being higher than it normally is.
Right.
what I don't understand is why people blame that on the vice president, and I wonder if they're also ignoring that inflation is a worldwide phenomenon and it's impacting countries all over the world, and energy prices are also skyrocketing around the world. So it's difficult for me to understand why we would blame the vice president or even the president for inflation here in the United States or for energy prices going up. I don't really understand the logic behind that.
Let me take a stab at it and see if I can make some sense to you. I heard that inflation started kind of bad with the disruption of the supply chain, with the overreaction to, I call it an overreaction to the China virus, the shutdowns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that started with the people of her ilk. By saying her ilk means Kamala's ilk, the liberals, the Joe Bidens, the LA people shutting down stuff, the scared woman-led CDC types. And her ilk are around the world. And it sort of appeals to the scared woman syndrome. You know how women are scared, they want to be safe, and so they are sometimes overcautious and destroy the economy in the process. So I think that points to Kamala's ilk more than Kamala herself as to why inflation is so bad, because of the micromanaging, meddling government. Does that make sense? You follow what I tried to say?
I follow it, but I guess I have questions that popped up as you were speaking on it.
Yeah.
Like the overreaction to COVID or China virus, whatever we want to label it.
Yeah.
Most of the countries around the world when COVID happened, were being, I guess, run, or the leaders of those countries were men, not women.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so how can we blame the overreaction to COVID on women when men were the leaders? And I believe Trump was in office when COVID struck.
Indeed, he was.
So how do we blame that on a female vice president when we've had two white men as president?
I didn't blame it on
here
her.
in the United States, and then globally, most of the leaders, if not all of them, are men. How do we pinpoint and point the blame on women?
Because men cater to women. Especially liberal men cater to scared liberal women. Kind of like advertisers cater to women, appeal to their ego, appeal to their fears, their desires and stuff. So too do politicians cater to women who are afraid. And so I'm not blaming the women, I'm blaming the catering to the women's fears.
Catering. Okay, I understand where you're going with it now. So because women exist and some leaders cater to them, that's we blame the inflation, and we're blaming inflation on women and men that cater to women.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. We being Hake. I don't know if you join me in that.
I absolutely do not.
Why not?
I'm not on that sinking ship.
It's not a sinking ship. Didn't you notice that they overreacted to the China virus? They made everybody wear masks outdoors. They didn't let them go outside and paddleboard in the ocean. That was crazy.
If the China virus, as you put it, impacted, say it was isolated to a few states or even a few countries, I would understand what you're saying. But the fact that it was a global, not even phenomenon, people were dying everywhere.
Global.
Not necessarily directly from that or only because of it, but it definitely increased. You remember all the deaths, right?
I remember hearing about deaths. I don't remember any of them specifically. I never witnessed any of them, but I believe them. I believe that a lot of people died from it, and a lot of people, you can still overreact to something. Are you suggesting? Let me let you finish. Go ahead. Yeah, I remember deaths.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, it's hard to call it an overreaction when it happened as late as it happened. I think we reacted way later than we should have. I know there were things that were in place that Trump kind of got rid of, and we still don't know how much money we saved from him getting rid of those quote unquote regulations. but I know we lost a lot of people here in the United States and worldwide, due in large part, if not completely, to COVID. So to react to it is necessary, or otherwise we would just keep seeing people dying left and right. And
But
I don't think that would have been a better course.
is there such a thing as overreacting to COVID?
I don't know if you can overreact to a pandemic.
Yeah, you can. Are you kidding me?
And if
Let's say
if you can overreact,
Yeah.
I don't think you would have the numbers of deaths that we had. I think that the numbers of deaths that we had due to COVID, and we had a president tell us it was just going to go away and it was going to disappear when things got warmer. I don't think you can overreact to it at that point, especially when we're talking about life and death.
But that's an emotion. You're giving an emotional analysis by putting it that way.
No, it's based solely on survival. If we're talking about taking precautions to preserve your life,
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's an overreaction.
When people gained 20 pounds or 10 pounds, many of them did, right? That was a phenomenon because they were shut indoors, safer at home, they claimed. They shut down gyms. They didn't let people go to parks and beaches. You don't think that that's an overreaction that did more harm than good?
I think if people made the choice to stay home and not go out, that's on them, and then maybe that's an overreaction. But as far as parks being shut, I did more flying and more hiking during COVID in 2020 than I ever have. East Coast, West Coast, I was everywhere.
Nice.
Because there weren't many people on the
Good
plane.
for you, man.
I could have an entire row of seats. I slept
Awesome.
on all the plane rides because I'm like, okay, I can't sit next to anybody, so cool. I kick my feet up and I'll fly and go where I need to go, and I would hike, and it was a lot less traffic and a lot fewer people.
I love that too, man. To be honest, I loved the fact that the traffic was low. It was kind of a ghost town. I knew it was not good that they turned it into a ghost town because it hurts the economy, right? But I'm with you. I too did not overreact, and it sounds like you did not overreact. But I'm kind of surprised at you justifying the overreaction to the virus, because there were like policies and things that. Did you hear about the paddleboarder? As an anecdote, I love anecdotes. I know that you don't accept anecdotes as evidence, but let's discuss this anecdote. Did you hear about this guy who was paddleboarding at the beach in LA somewhere? And he got arrested because it was during the shutdown.
This was during COVID?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
to me, if I'm paddleboarding and I'm out in the middle of the water and I'm clearly socially distancing if I'm paddleboarding.
Right.
But if law enforcement is so afraid of the virus and think people should stay home, then I would question them risking their lives and their health to put me in handcuffs if they were going to take me away.
Yeah. I mean,
I clearly got to get within 6 feet of me to put me in handcuffs. So if you're that scared of the virus, stay over there.
I don't think that
aren't concerned. Let me paddle boat in peace.
I think the cops were enforcing the politicians, the local politicians' insane policies, because the cops don't care, I don't think, but they had to enforce the insane policies. They didn't have to, but they did, and I don't necessarily blame them for it. But I understand the reason, the thinking. The thinking is, if we don't arrest this guy, that means everybody's going to disobey these orders, and if everybody goes out and paddleboards, then people are going to interact, and not fair. So we have to enforce this insane thing. But that's an example. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about with this overreaction. Because women got angry, they got scared. That's not good for your health. And it was very political. People were judging one another. Go ahead.
Yeah, if it's them kind of overreacting in their own life and they decide not to ever go out again and not get any sunlight or fresh air, that's on them. And the policies, some of the policies from some of the places I didn't really agree with.
See?
But there's a long list of government laws and rules and regulations that I disagree with.
Right. And those
I think
things
that
hurt.
even though it's a law, just because it's a law, that doesn't necessarily mean it is right.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. That's Kamala's ilk, destroying the world.
So back to that. I don't understand how we blame Kamala. She wasn't vice president when COVID was running rampant through the world.
Was she?
And even with her coming into the Biden administration, she's the vice president. She's never been president ever.
Was she speaking out against Crooked Joe's horrible policies? Was she speaking out for opening up the business again during the shutdowns like Trump was?
I don't think I've ever seen a vice president openly come out on something against the president if they disagree.
Do you
even
think
when Mike Pence had moments where he disagreed with Trump, he never grabbed a megahorn and went out and said why he disagreed with Trump. He did it. He fulfilled his duties as vice president.
How about?
And I think Kamala's done the same. But to blame the vice president
no.
is weird. That the first time we have a female vice president is also the first time we blame the vice president for stuff. Vice president has never been blamed for anything ever.
I know.
Until now.
But now she's trying to play president. And it's so funny because this is changing the subject. But before I get to this change of subject, did you hear her speaking out for reopening the economy like Trump did? We heard Trump talking about opening up the economy.
I don't recall what Kamala's stance, what her stances were during COVID.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to it.
So I'm going to assume that she was among those lame-o liberals who is pushing masks and stuff. And okay, don't you think that it's interesting that they were saying we need to 25th Amendment Trump? Do you remember that? They were trying to 25th Amendment Trump. Do you know what that means offhand?
It's when they say he's unfit, or he or she is unfit and can no longer serve as president.
Right. People were pushing. I remember the media, people in the media, pushing for them to 25th Amendment Trump. Where are the calls to 25th Amendment Biden? Where have they been for the past, at least since the debate? Remember the Trump-Biden debate? That's when everybody realized, it was so obvious that he's probably not fit to be president. Why didn't they 25th Amendment him on the spot? You know?
So I think you would have to reach out to your Marjorie Taylor Greenes, your Matt Gaetzes, and figure out why they didn't either impeach Joe Biden or, like you said, make calls to push to invoke the 25th Amendment.
Good question.
You're not going to get that call from Democrats.
Yeah.
That's their president. So
but
they're not going to put that forward.
Isn't it concerning that Kamala didn't care enough about her country, or she didn't think that it mattered to 25th Amendment him? It makes me think that he's being run by Obama's team.
So two things.
Yeah.
One, I don't think that, especially not based on the debate that he had with Trump, I don't think that Joe Biden is unfit or unable to serve as president.
Okay. Is that because you think the team is running the show anyway, so it doesn't matter who's president?
That stuff has never really mattered to me. I'm going to live my life, and I kind of like with Nick on this, where Nick said it doesn't matter who wins the election, he's still going to continue to work on himself and live his life. And nice. I'm the same way.
Okay.
And specifically me, my life, I would say, has been better under Biden than it was the 4 years under Trump. I know that's not true of everybody.
Is that because of you, or is it because of Biden?
It's because of me. I don't never think that my life is going to be better or worse because of who's sitting in the office on Pennsylvania Avenue.
I like that attitude.
And the people that feel like their life depends on who's president, I think they are the ones that are overreacting to things.
That's true.
The president doesn't have that much power or jurisdiction over my life.
Right on.
But yeah, speaking specifically to me, my life has been better the past 4 years under Biden. So I wouldn't be somebody saying, hey, we need to get him out of office because he's unfit. I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Having lapses in speech, I don't think that makes somebody unfit for president. And if they're saying things that are just clearly terrible and just don't make sense, like COVID's just going to disappear, I think at that point you can raise questions and possibly want to go about invoking the 25th Amendment. But I don't know on what basis we would do that with Joe Biden.
So you can see it. You can see it with Trump, but not with Biden.
Right. Because again, if you're showing that you're unfit to serve,
Trump
as president
has shown that he was very fit to serve. He was our greatest president, man. But now we got to talk another day because we've gone on long enough.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I ain't gonna clog up the airways. Yeah, it was a good talk.
Yeah.
And, I'll call back soon and we'll chop it up.
All right. Ronnie in Ohio. Bye. What a mess. He thought that it would be justified to call Trump unfit to serve. Lord have mercy. William, a first-time caller in West Virginia, Mountain Mama. How you doing, William, in West Virginia? Thanks for calling.
I'm doing well.
Good.
No, but the caller said a couple things, your last one there, about blaming Kamala for whatever. The reason we blame Kamala is simple. She was asked on TV if you could go back and change anything, would you? She said, I was involved in every decision and I wouldn't change a thing.
Interesting point, yeah.
Then inflation is not high worldwide. You can watch people on YouTube who travel. They post videos every day and see that that's just not true.
Wow. Really?
Oh, absolutely. You can heat a home in northern Russia, a mansion 4 times the size of my house for $200 a month in the middle of winter where it's sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah. So who wants to live there? That's why they would. That's why it's so cheap.
Well, they got cheap energy. That's what it is. They do have cheap energy in Russia.
Good for them. Right on. Shout out.
But yeah, I mean, sure, the world does have inflation, but America has the highest, and there's just no disputing that. You can just look it up, and it's just if you're not looking at news sources and you look at people who travel, then there's just no disputing it.
You know what's funny? As I'm reading the Rumble live stream, and Jules Verne is saying the very same things that you're saying, William.
I saw the chat there.
Inflation is not high all around the world. You can watch anyone on YouTube who travels and knows. And we blame Kamala because she said I was involved in every decision Biden made. Wouldn't change
because
any of
I
it.
don't know how this guy didn't see that interview. Everybody saw the interview.
Right.
It was on national TV. It was with, what's his face? The comedian that's not funny, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of those guys. I started to say one of them guys. Names. Yep.
But then the COVID thing, there was no overreaction to COVID. That was the plan. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at UN papers published years before COVID ever came out.
Yeah.
They were talking about we needed a respiratory illness that they could use to introduce genetic modification, and they even said if they did not have one occur naturally, they might have to make one happen.
Whoa. Wild. But they definitely exploited the women's overreaction and the liberals, scared liberals overreaction.
I'm telling you, that was the plan.
I'm not disputing that was the plan. But
way the media acted, that was all scripted.
To strike when the plebs, do you know anybody personally who overreacted to it?
Well,
I know people personally who overreacted to it.
If you're saying people overreacted, well, you can't say that. People thought they were going to die because they were lied to.
No, they were overreacted. It doesn't matter if they thought they were going to die.
I don't know what you mean by overreaction. Give me an example.
Being scared, being angry.
Well, yes, if you're angry or scared, then you're overreacting.
Yep.
That is true.
Stop blaming girls.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Now, I don't want to get it. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just like the gun control thing. They have a plan in place. We need a crisis to exploit. Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, those are words they said even during COVID.
Yep, indeed.
But I mean, even the media response in their papers that I've read from, I think it was 2015. They said we have to treat people who talk about the thing, whatever it would have been, because they didn't know then, that they would have to label them as misinformation or disinformation. It was all planned. The way the media reacted, the way people got banned for talking about things that might help, all of that was talked about.
you can call it planned, but it's actually quite predictable too. So you can say,
yeah,
they
absolutely.
planned based on their predictions of how predictable people overreact, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Great call, man. I appreciate you debunking Ronnie from Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, sure, Kamala might not have, like, the blame. Oh, and that was another thing.
Yeah.
He says no one blames other VPs. Everybody blames Dick Cheney for the wars.
Oh, dang. Boom! In your face, Ronnie in Ohio. Good point. That's so true. People
if
to this day.
There's blame to be had. There's blame to be had. It doesn't matter which position you got.
Yep. Wow. It's good to have if you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
42.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're my age. I was going to say it's good to have an older man who knows what's up, who remembers history. And which you are. You're an older gentleman, older than 21.
Yeah, definitely older than 21.
Ronnie's about our age too.
I'm telling you, you just gotta be willing to look at sources you wouldn't have looked at.
Yeah, that's true.
It's there. It's all there.
That's fair. Nice. Roll right on, William in West Virginia. Call me again sometime.
Thanks for the chat. You have a good day. Have a good show.
Appreciate it.
And JLP's the greatest.
Indeed.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Take care. William in West Virginia. Nice. Am I supposed to disavow anything about messenger RNA? Mr. Pink is in California on the line here. Mr. Pink, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Doing all right, Hake.
Good.
How are we today?
Doing fine.
Cool. Yeah. Basically, everything you said and everything that William said just there pretty much summed up what my responses would have been. Especially that thing about Dick Cheney. I instantly thought of that. I was like, he said no vice president has ever been blamed for anything.
Yeah.
That was his quote. So the common sense does not run strong with Ronnie sometimes.
Fair. That's a fair, especially when you say sometimes. That's a fair statement, I would say. Shout out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he'll make broad truth statements. Like don't let whoever's sitting in the Oval Office affect your life to where you can't function economically or personally or emotionally, unless it's based on that.
Yeah.
Sure, but
and people get caught up, so that's a wise statement.
Yeah, but he's doing that just the same though, because he's tripping out about people blaming Kamala for this or that. So he's emotionally reacting to that.
Yeah.
And you're totally right about the whole Kamala and her ilk statement.
Yeah.
It's people like that. It's people like that overreacted to the virus, that wanted to keep things shut down so that they could further their control over people.
That's right. Control freaks. Indeed. It wasn't just fear, it was control. That's why they do the gun control thing.
Right. I mean, so sit there and then turn around and say, oh, you can blame Trump for his reaction to the virus. That's not necessarily true either. He was in the moment listening to people around him that were science-based or whatever. He mistakenly had Fauci there, who was basically the guy in charge of the response and creation of the thing.
Right.
So if those are the people, his advisors, who were also mistakenly put in, they're telling him that's who to listen to, and then he does that, and then he realizes, in the midst of the response, wow, this is not going, correctly.
Yeah.
Or the way that I would like, and he started to change his course on it. That's the better thing. But in reality, we can blame I don't want to point fingers specifically, but I still remember when that first happened.
Yeah,
when
me too.
the virus first broke out, okay? And 2 weeks before the news started to break in China that the virus was spreading, that was like, it was literally, I can see it in my mind still today. Trump was signing the trade deal with China to make it 50-50 and not be so out of balance.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Sort of.
And he had all of the Chinese dudes in their black suits in the White House, and they took the picture, and he was signing the trade deal, and all of the Chinese dudes that were there in the White House were behind him, and none of them looked happy at all about it. Right? He was like smiling big, and they was all behind him, just straight faced, like, we have to do this right now. And then literally 2 weeks after they signed that trade deal, all of a sudden there's a virus going on in China. Oh, all of a sudden people traveled from there to here, and we got to shut the whole economy down, and basically rigged the whole deal so that it makes his presidency look bad. It all spiraled from that one moment when he made them sign the trade deal to even things out with China. Like, that is literally how it played out.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it happen, like in real time. I'm like, obviously this is going on because he did that. And that was his main promise to do. I mean,
you think so?
He's not even really, he's not even like, you remember in his first campaign, it was China.
Right. I do remember that.
China.
He's been doing that
China.
even before he ran for president. I remember him talking about China way back in 2011 and before that.
Look at his campaign now, though. He's not really talking about that much.
No, but he is talking
about
tariffs
China all the time. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
But it's not like this super focus. Like, I remember every speech from the last campaign, or the campaign where he won. It was all about China trade deal, China trade deal. He kept saying that. And now it's just more so like the corrupt Democrats and getting them out of there
because he won that.
But
if you think about it, he won that. Biden kept the Chinese tariffs.
That's a good point.
So I think that,
and basically he had to, because if he didn't, then inflation would be incredibly more bad than it is.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know how that works, but interesting.
I was just going to ask in a general, and putting the word out there to everybody. We've got less than 2 weeks left. Have you gotten your vote in?
Not yet.
Are you going to go the day of? Or
that's what I like to do, is the day of. Oh, I know I'm voting for Trump. And then the other stuff, I'll have to look into it. Trump Vance, 2024 for me.
Yeah, there you go. I definitely did the same thing. I try to vote straight ticket as much as I can, as far as okay, here's the Republican Party's, suggestions. Usually end up matching up with what I think should be done. So I did that. But then there was one little proposal in San Francisco that was it said something about because the president, or because Trump takes this position, we should try to be neutral on this topic. And it was the question about, and they're trying to do this in San Francisco, that they can no longer, they're going to take it all out of all the language in San Francisco law that marriage is between a man and a woman only.
Oh, wild. Crazy.
So all legal documents, all legislation that gets passed, the word marriage will not include the stipulation that is only between a man and a woman, period.
That's insane.
And that is absolutely insane. I was like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. I saw that. Oh man.
Wow.
And, also I just confirmed this as well. And it's in California, and you can check it out yourself. Ask the people at the polling place or wherever you end up going. And this blew my mind, and I heard the law had been passed, but when I went there, I told them my name and I told them my address, and they were like, "Okay, here you are, blah blah blah. Here's your ballot." And I looked at that. I leaned in and I'm like, "Lady, I heard this is the thing now. You can't look at my ID. Is that right?" And she was like, well, that's technically the law, yes. Now they do not have to look at your ID to verify that it's actually you saying who you are.
Yeah, they don't have to, and they're disallowed from asking?
Yes, it's against the law for them to look at your ID to verify that it's you.
That's insane, man. Interesting.
That is so crazy. I was like, I kind of want to give you my ID, and she's like, I can't look at it. It's not allowed. So that's like, what's to stop somebody from walking up?
I disavow
with
this
somebody
talk.
else's pieces of, yeah.
That doesn't happen.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, never happens. But just think about that. What's to stop somebody?
No. I'm not listening to this. Interesting, man. I got to run, Mr.
Yeah.
Pink. I appreciate your call. Great input.
All right, appreciate you, brother.
Take care. Some super chats, guys. I have not got to the super chats all show, and we're coming up on the top of the hour. Over on Streamlabs, how are we doing on Streamlabs? How are we doing on, I did see a few coffees. How are we doing over on the Rumble crew? How are we doing on the D-Live crew? What's up, GG Cash 22, Brick and Order? Nice to see you guys. What's up, GMD Jim, Beta Legs, Severio Jones, Auto Rocks, Misty, Aries 1, hey. Bill West, Grandpa Daryl, Kilo Alpha Tango, Qatar. What's up, Jules Verne and the rest here on Gilligan's Isle? Nice to see you. Let me just make sure that I'm up to date on what's up, Gregatron. Okay, so over on buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report, not JLP Talk. Pablo says flat Earth isn't even a science question. It's geometry. Indeed. A ball has a rate of curvature. Ballers have no proof of it, of the rate of curvature, he says. We have many proofs for flat Earth, like the black swan argument, sextants, pitch data, ESSM missile technology. There is control op, crazy people, and grifters